And I remember visiting all these children, and you know they were kind of like looking at you with the eyes of hope, you know.
Hello, how is your day? Hope you have a wonderful day. Matteo Bocelli, son of legendary opera singer Andrea Bocelli, has stepped out of his father's shadow to assert his independent musical talent. But did you know that besides pursuing music, he has other interesting untold stories? Let's explore. Not always confident in your voice, behind Matteo Bocelli's polished performances and confident stage presence lies a surprising truth. The son of world-renowned tenor Andrea Bocelli once struggled with self-doubt about his own vocal abilities. This hesitation shaped his early relationship with music and created a complex dynamic between father and son. Though born into a family where music flowed through their home in Tuscany, young Matteo initially showed reluctance to share his voice with his famous father. Whenever Andrea Bocelli entered a room where Matteo was singing, the young artist would immediately stop. This wasn't merely childhood shyness, rather Matteo felt overwhelming pressure living in the shadow of one of the world's most celebrated voices. "I was scared of judgment," Matteo once confessed in an interview. When you have a father who is considered one of the greatest singers, you naturally question if you'll ever measure up. This hesitation persisted throughout his teenage years. Interestingly, Matteo would often practice alone, perfecting his technique in private before gaining enough confidence to perform for others. His father, Andrea, respected this space, understanding the unique challenges his son faced. The pressure Matteo experienced wasn't just internal. As Andrea Bocelli's son, public expectations weighed heavily on his shoulders. Music critics and fans naturally drew comparisons between father and son, further complicating Matteo's relationship with his own artistic identity. Nevertheless, during family gatherings, occasional glimpses of Matteo's talent would emerge. His father would sometimes overhear him singing from another room, recognizing the natural gift his son possessed, but rarely displayed willingly in his presence. While Matteo's relationship with his father's musical legacy proved complicated, his mother, Veronica Berti, played a crucial role in nurturing his confidence. Unlike the involuntary pressure he felt around his father, Matteo found in his mother a safe space to explore his developing voice. Veronica, who married Andrea Bocelli in 2014 after many years together, recognized her son's potential early on. She created opportunities for Matteo to sing without scrutiny, often inviting him to perform small pieces during intimate family dinners where the stakes felt lower. "My mother would ask me to sing for her friends or during small gatherings," Matteo has recalled. "She knew how to push me just enough without making me feel overwhelmed." Furthermore, Veronica encouraged Matteo to explore diverse musical genres beyond his father's classical repertoire. This freedom allowed him to develop his unique style without feeling constrained by Andrea's operatic legacy. She would select songs that matched his vocal range and emotional depth, helping him build a foundation of confidence. Her approach was methodical yet nurturing. She arranged informal performances where Matteo could gradually become comfortable with an audience. These small steps ultimately prepared him for larger stages later in his career. The turning point came during Matteo's late teens when Veronica convinced him to record himself singing. Hearing his voice played back helped him objectively recognize his talent, separate from his father's shadow. This exercise, suggested by his mother, proved transformative in building his self-assurance. Through Veronica's persistent encouragement, Matteo slowly emerged from his shell. Her balanced perspective, respecting his connection to his father's musical heritage while championing his individuality, ultimately helped Matteo find his authentic voice. Today, though he still experiences moments of self-doubt that all performers face, Matteo has developed into a confident artist who stands tall both alongside his father and in his solo performances. Surprising musical taste, many might assume that the son of a legendary tenor would exclusively immerse himself in classical compositions and operatic masterpieces. However, Matteo Bocelli's musical palette extends far beyond what his family name might suggest, revealing an eclectic taste that has shaped his unique artistic identity. The walls of the Bocelli household in Tuscany resonated with diverse melodies throughout Matteo's childhood. While his early musical education naturally included exposure to opera and classical compositions, his personal preferences ventured into unexpected territories. I also listen sometimes to rap, I listen to Eminem, I listen to Kanye West, I listen to Imagine Dragons. Matteo has revealed during live performances, his appreciation transcends genres. As he explains, I think that every type of music that is well done, and that it's done with a good purpose, I like it. This musical versatility wasn't merely passive listening, but actively influenced his development as an artist. After completing his formal piano lessons playing Bach, Beethoven, and Chopin, young Matteo would eagerly search the internet for pop song chords, hungry to explore different musical expressions. Ed Sheeran holds a special place in Matteo's musical pantheon. "He's my idol," Matteo once declared. "The best." This admiration runs deep, with Matteo recalling how he first saw Sheeran perform early in his career when he opened for Taylor Swift. Consequently, Matteo describes himself as a bit of an old soul when it comes to music. This diverse foundation has manifested in his work, which he characterizes as lying at a crossroads between pop and the more traditional elements of classical music. Perhaps the most surprising catalyst for Matteo's diverse musical journey was his older brother Amos. Indeed, familial influence on Matteo's artistic development extended beyond his famous father to include his siblings' distinctly different musical preferences. Amos introduced his younger brother to heavier genres that dramatically contrasted with their father's classical repertoire. "One of my biggest influences was my older brother Amos, who listened to bands like Slipknot, Metallica, and Muse at home," Matteo acknowledged. This exposure to metal and rock through Amos created a musical counterbalance that helped Matteo develop an unusually broad appreciation. "I learned to appreciate almost every genre of music," he explained, underscoring how these seemingly conflicting influences ultimately enriched his musical foundation. The brothers' contrasting yet complementary musical journeys highlight the unique developmental paths of Andrea Bocelli's children. While sharing the same musical household, each forged distinct identities shaped by personal connections to different genres. In essence, Matteo's relationship with music reflects his life philosophy: we are the sum of our experiences and what we listen to. This openness has enabled him to connect with audiences across traditional genre boundaries, crafting a musical identity distinctly his own despite, or perhaps because of, his illustrious lineage. "Almost Didn't Sing on Fall on Me" stands as the breakthrough duet that introduced Matteo Bocelli to global audiences, yet few realize the song nearly happened without him. This heartfelt father-son collaboration that touched millions almost took an entirely different form before a crucial intervention. Originally, Andrea Bocelli had envisioned Fall on Me as a solo performance for his 2018 album See. The legendary tenor had already recorded his portions of the track, crafting it as a personal reflection on parent-child relationships. At this point, Matteo Bocelli's participation wasn't even considered, although he had been developing his musical abilities privately. The Italian version, with lyrics by Fortunato Zampaglione, was completed first. Andrea found the message particularly moving, exploring the complex emotional connection between generations. Nevertheless, something seemed missing. The song yearned for another dimension, a counterbalance to Andrea's mature vocal perspective. Meanwhile, Matteo had been quietly working on his music, still largely outside the public eye. Though he came from one of music's most renowned families, Matteo Bocelli's mother and father had been careful not to push him into the industry prematurely. His musical journey remained personal rather than promotional. The pivotal moment came when legendary producer Bob Ezrin entered the picture. Known for his work with Pink Floyd, Alice Cooper, and Kiss, Ezrin brought a fresh perspective to the project. After hearing Andrea's version, he immediately suggested something unprecedented, bringing Matteo into the studio. "Why don't we try it as a duet between father and son?" Ezrin proposed. This suggestion transformed the song's entire concept overnight. Initially hesitant, Matteo eventually agreed to the collaboration. Ezrin oversaw the recording process, helping to blend the contrasting tones of their voices, Andrea's powerful seasoned tenor alongside Matteo's youthful contemporary sound. Moreover, Ezrin insisted on creating an English version to reach international audiences, working with writers Josh Goodwin and Jason Evigan on the English lyrics. Under Ezrin's direction, the emotional core of the song evolved into a conversation between parent and child. The result was transformative. Released as the lead single from See Fall on Me, quickly became a global phenomenon, featured prominently in Disney's The Nutcracker and The Four Realms, and launching Matteo onto international stages alongside his father. Looking back, Matteo has acknowledged that without Ezrin's vision, his musical debut might have taken a completely different path. Deeply aware of one's privilege, unlike many celebrity children who downplay their famous backgrounds, Matteo Bocelli candidly acknowledges the advantages that come with being Andrea Bocelli's son. Throughout his emerging career, Matteo has demonstrated remarkable self-awareness regarding his privileged position in the music industry, a refreshing stance in an era when discussions about nepotism have become increasingly prominent. In several interviews, Matteo has addressed the nepotism question head-on instead of avoiding it. "Of course, having a famous last name opens doors," he once admitted frankly. "It would be foolish to deny that." This candor sets him apart from many other celebrity offspring who often insist they've achieved success entirely on their own merits. Admittedly, Matteo recognizes the unique opportunities he's been afforded through his family connections, from access to world-class producers to performing on prestigious stages that would typically take years for emerging artists to reach. Yet alongside this acknowledgement comes a nuanced understanding of both the benefits and burdens of his lineage. What distinguishes Matteo's perspective is his thoughtful approach to his position. Rather than defensiveness, he expresses gratitude while simultaneously acknowledging the complex reality of his situation. He understands that his father's fame created pathways that would otherwise remain closed to most aspiring musicians. Paradoxically, Matteo maintains that his famous surname creates additional hurdles for establishing his own artistic identity. "People are always ready to criticize, to say I'm only here because I'm Andrea Bocelli's son," he has explained. This heightened scrutiny means Matteo feels constant pressure to demonstrate exceptional talent. Ordinary competence simply isn't enough. He believes the bar is set significantly higher for him than for other emerging artists without famous parents. Furthermore, Matteo faces the challenge of comparison. Critics and audiences inevitably measure his performances against his father's legendary vocals. Whereas unknown artists begin with blank slates, Matteo started his career carrying the weight of extraordinary expectations. Ultimately, Matteo's relationship with his privilege reflects a mature understanding of his unique position. Instead of either denying his advantages or leveraging them without acknowledgement, he navigates this complex terrain with remarkable self-awareness, recognizing both the doors that have opened for him and the additional challenges he faces in stepping through them on his terms. Favorite place nestled among the rolling hills of Tuscany lies a place that holds special significance for Matteo Bocelli, the Teatro del Silenzio Theater of Silence. This unique open-air amphitheater in Lajatico represents more than just a performance venue. It embodies his family legacy and personal sanctuary. The Teatro del Silenzio stands as a remarkable natural amphitheater located just 1.5 kilometers from Lajatico's town center where Andrea Bocelli was born. Created in 2006, this venue remains silent for most of the year, hence its poetic name. The space features an artificial pond surrounded by blocks of Tuscan travertine, reminiscent of ancient Neolithic megaliths. What truly sets this venue apart is its transformation. For just 1 or 2 days each year, this peaceful countryside setting becomes a world-class performance space, drawing international audiences of nearly 11,000 people. Afterwards, everything is meticulously dismantled, allowing the location to return to its natural state of tranquil silence. The amphitheater's design brilliantly integrates with the surrounding landscape. From its hilltop perch, visitors enjoy breathtaking 180-degree views across the Tuscan countryside, including sights of Volterra and its dramatic crags in the distance. For Matteo, this place represents something deeply personal. The Teatro del Silenzio began as a concert my father held in his hometown, but over the years it has become much more he has shared. Throughout his life, Matteo has attended this special event for 19 consecutive years, watching it evolve from a simple performance into a celebration of music's universal language. Within this natural sanctuary, Matteo finds both inspiration and grounding. The venue symbolizes the balance he seeks in his own career, honoring his father's legacy yet creating his own musical identity. In 2025, Matteo will mark a pivotal moment in his relationship with the venue as he headlines his first solo show at the Teatro del's 20th anniversary celebration. Fundamentally, this place embodies what Matteo values most: the beauty of his origins, family heritage, and the transformative power of music in a setting where nature and art exist in perfect harmony. Where do you think Matteo Bocelli will take his musical career next? Will he stick to his classical heritage, or will he try new genres in the future? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We would love to hear from you, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more interesting updates. Thank you, and see you in the next videos.